Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Sophie. I hope you're doing really well today. So for today's video I thought I would talk about what gastroparesis is. It was the first condition I was diagnosed with, and it was a whole reason that I started blogging and vlogging and YouTubing. No one's ever really heard of it. They're like, gastro what? So let's learn about it today. So if you want to learn, carry on watching. Gastroparesis is when the nerves in the stomach are damaged or stop working for whatever the reason. There's a number of different reasons, and it's the vagus nerve that they believe to be the problem. And I don't mean like Las Vegas party. I can see where the link would be, but it's not Vegas, it's the vagus nerve. Mind you, I would really love to be in Las Vegas right now. And it does seem to be more common in females. I don't really know why, and doctors don't seem to know why, but it can be of all ages and it can be males, just tends to be females. There are so many different ways and different combinations of things that can obviously cause it, but these are kind of, I guess, the most known reasons behind gastroparesis. So if you're diabetic, that is a very common one. Nerve damage. Great, Sophie. So you could get damage to the nerve during an operation of some sort, whether it's regarding the stomach or not. If damage is done, that can cause gastroparesis. Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, anorexia is another one that can cause it, kind of the after effects of everything that goes through your body when you have anorexia. After pregnancy, you can actually get gastroparesis. A virus leaving its mark, as they say. And another common one that they're finding is EDS, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, if you know what that is, or if you don't, I also did a video as to what that is, so I'll leave that link below and you can learn about that. But the two are often very much linked together. They're like a pair. The most common form of gastroparesis is the unknown. Basically, doctors call this idiopathic gastroparesis, which in our terms basically means we don't have a clue, but this is what you have, so deal with it. Symptoms can be a number of things, and you can get some of them, all of them, a couple of them. Everyone's obviously different and gets them to different extents, but these are kind of the symptoms, I guess, that are universal and things that link with it. Feeling full early after eating, bloating, pain and discomfort in the tummy, and it's painful. Nausea, vomiting, weight loss or in some cases weight gain, achiness, exhaustion, lightheadedness, passing out, malnutrition, dehydration, heartburn, acid reflux, a loss of appetite, insomnia or problem sleeping, which are kind of the same thing. And I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on, but I would say those are probably like the main ones, and yeah, they are not fun. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I never do in these videos. They're not fun. There are ways of managing it to degrees, but some days you just can't manage it, and some days you may get no symptoms or very few symptoms and they're not too bad. Other days you could get all of the symptoms or even one or two of the symptoms and it's really bad and it's really painful, or a lot of sickness. Every day is different, as with any chronic illness. No day is the same, and what happens one day is not the same the following day, so that makes for a lot of fun. If this word fun means horrible. I'm going to try and explain to you in the best way I can what it feels like to have gastroparesis every single day of your life. Okay, now close your eyes and imagine this. Imagine the last time you had a really, really bad cold, virus, flu, bug. It was horrible, really bad. And remember how you were feeling with that. Remember how you felt exhausted, sick, achy, weak, how you couldn't get out of bed and just generally felt really crap. Now add some pain in your stomach, and I'm talking like worse than giving birth pain. times the whole cold thing by like 50 and you're probably like halfway there. Imagine the pain that is inside your stomach and the fact that you are starving and literally can't do anything about it, because if you try, you just bring it straight back up, or you are in like horrendous pain and it doesn't go away. You can't pause it or get rid of it whilst you do an activity or you get on with your day at work. You still have to live, you still have to get on with life and activities and work or school or whatever it is you're doing, and you have to deal with that. It's exhausting just thinking about it. Yeah, so that, my friends, that's gastroparesis. I have been told that the pain is worse than giving birth. I myself can't confirm or deny that, as I haven't given birth, but if that is worse than giving birth, I am so prepared to give birth. I will be sitting there with my legs up, chilling like I'm on holiday. Basically, I'm ready for childbirth. Not that I'm planning on having a child anytime soon. There are a few different ways in order to diagnose gastroparesis, and you could have one of the tests, you could have all of the tests. But the first thing that you'll probably have is an endoscopy, which is a little camera going up your nose, down the back of your throat and into your stomach. And it just kind of examines your stomach lining and rules out other causes or conditions that could be going on. Another thing that they can do is a barium x-ray, basically where you swallow a liquid which is containing a chemical, and it kind of has a chalky kind of texture from what I can feel. Not that I swallow chalk on a regular basis, but it's just what you would imagine chalk to be like. And you swallow it and you basically watch it on an x-ray, and you can watch it going through your digestive tract. Another one which they can do, and one is I had, is a soup test. So it is basically an ultrasound, and you have to stop eating at a certain time. Then they do an ultrasound on your stomach, see if there's any food left in there, how much is in there, that kind of thing. Then they make you have some soup or some form of liquid that they have, and then after so long they will check your stomach again through the ultrasound and see what food is in there, how much is left in there, if anything's digested, that kind of thing. And it's not that bad of a test, and I had it, and they actually ended up putting me on a liquid diet because it showed that I had a whole meal in there, even though I hadn't eaten for like 2 days. Another test, and I think is probably the main test that they use to diagnose gastroparesis, and it's called the gastric emptying test. This is basically a large machine that you lie under, and they give you some food. I think I had mashed potato, which has a small amount of radioactive dye in it, and they basically watch your digestive system for like 4 hours or so, and they see how long it takes for your body to digest it and how much is in your stomach after, each hour. As normal person, food would be digested by 4 hours, or most of it would be digested. So I think the number that they use is 10%. So if you have 10% or more of the food left in your stomach after 4 hours, then your diagnosis is there of gastroparesis, and they can tell you how bad it is, basically. A newer version that I know that they're doing is the wireless capsule test. So it's a little capsule which I think has like a camera and tracks the speed that it goes through your digestive system, and it's similar to the gastric emptying test, but it's just done with a capsule. I have swallowing difficulties, so I would never be able to have that, but I believe this is like the newest thing that they're trying. Like I mentioned before, there is no cure to gastroparesis. There's just ways of managing the symptoms so that you can live as normal a life as possible. One of the biggest things, and probably the first things that they will do, is a dietary change. They will probably get you to do is have 6 smaller meals in a day rather than 3 big meals. And I mean, we're all supposed to do this anyway, but I mean, who's got time for that in reality? It's hard to do when you're living life and you're at school or you're working. It is hard, but it is really important with gastroparesis because it gives your body that little helping hand to keep the motility of the stomach and the digestive system going, but also gives it more of a chance to digest food rather than just shoving it all in there, which is totally what I do still. Another dietary change that they'll make you do is to try softer foods that are easier to digest rather than the harder foods that need more work and take longer anyway. And chew like your food really, really well. I know sometimes we're in a hurry and we just kind of suck it and swallow it. Oh. But in reality we really need to chew our food because that is a form of digesting it. So if it's already broken down, then it's going to be easier to digest on the inside. And another dietary change that I personally have found massively helpful is taking out any fizzy drinks. I wasn't a big fizzy drink person anyway, but I would have the odd one here and there, but the gas and the bubbles in that will just play havoc on your insides and doesn't help with bloating at all in the slightest. It makes you look like 9 months pregnant, which a lot of food does. That's gastroparesis. And fatty foods and sugary foods and basically all the foods that you love, yeah, you gotta limit them because your body doesn't love it. Basically is the gist of it. Another form of treatment for gastroparesis is the medication route. Obviously we don't want to be on medication for life, but if it helps then it's giving you a life, is my point of view on it. So the first medication that I was ever put on, and I think it's the most popular one that anyone's ever put on if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, I know that it's banned there, and that is domperidone, not Dom Perignon, the wine, or champagne, is it? You can tell I'm a drinker. And this is actually called Motilium for some brands, and it basically helps the motility and the movement of your insides. The only problem with this medication is they're saying that there is a risk of heart problems with it, which is why I have been taken off of it, but I'm not very good off of it. I need it every so often, but they've taken me off of it for the most part, and is the reason why it's banned in the US is it is said to have a lot of problems with your heart further down the line. Anti-sickness medication is another one that I was put on, and that does exactly what it says it does. It helps with the sickness and the nausea, and I really notice the difference if I don't take it with my sickness levels and my nausea levels, and if I don't take it for a period of time I am likely to, and I actually have a fear of being sick, so not the best combination. Another medication that you're likely to be given if you're on a lot of medications is something like lansoprazole or omeprazole, one of those which basically helps protect the lining of your stomach. Another one that I have been on and tried is an anti-epileptic medication, and this just means that it kind of helps the spasms that your nerves do rather than doing what they're supposed to do. I am on pregabalin, and I find it's probably my most helpful medication alongside the anti-sickness medication. When I'm not on it, I notice the pain's worse, which causes the sickness to be worse, your mood to be worse, everything to be worse. So I don't know if that's like a kind of worldwide thing or if that's just from my pain management. A pain medication that I am on is ketamine. I know this is a fairly new one and not many places do this just yet. I think it's kind of becoming slowly a bit bigger, but I get injections of ketamine every 2 to 3 weeks, which helps to switch off the nerve. There are other ways of doing this. You can kind of do it with local anaesthetics and trigger point injections, but on the medication front, it's just one that I've tried, I am on, I have, and we're still trying to get the dosage there, but I do notice when I haven't had it or when it's kind of starting to wear off, it is a horse tranquilizer, I know, and it's not safe if you have it every single day, 3 times a day, but in the way that my pain management team are doing it, it is very safe, which is just under supervision with my blood pressure being monitored because it can make your blood pressure go up. And yeah, that's another medication that I'm on, so I thought I would share it because it is a fairly new one, so I know that it's not kind of a known one out there. So if you haven't heard of it, maybe you could ask your pain management team about it, because I do rate it very highly. Another form of treatment that people have used, and I personally have as well, is a electrical implant, so a pacemaker for the tummy, and it does exactly what a pacemaker would do in the heart, which is kind of shock the nerves into contracting and doing what they're supposed to do. It does the exact same thing but to the nerves in the stomach, and for me I find it does help a lot. It's more for sickness than it is for pain. I also do know that the NHS are a bit fussy about covering it and doing the operation. Another treatment that I have had, which a lot of you will know if you've seen my videos for a long time or you've watched any of my kind of tube related ones, is a feeding tube of some description. There are obviously a ton of different feeding tubes, and a lot of the ones you will get if you have gastroparesis go into the jejunal rather than into your stomach, and that's your small intestines. That's where your food would end up after you've eaten, and that's basically to avoid the area that is the problem, basically, because there would be no point in putting food in there. But it's basically a tube, and like I said, there are tons of different ones. I've had two different types. I've had the PEG J tube, which goes through your stomach wall and down into your small intestine, and I've also had the nasal jejunal tube, which again a lot of you would have seen, probably more so than the other one, which goes up your nose, down the back of your throat, through down to your stomach and through into your intestine, and you then connect this to a machine which pumps in like a liquid feed that has all the nutrition and minerals and everything that your body needs to survive. Similar to a feeding tube is a PICC line or Hickman line. There's a few different ones, but that's basically where you have a little needle that goes in like around this kind of area, and it feeds you through your heart. This comes with massive risks and has a massive tendency to cause sepsis and infection after infection. If it's going to save your life, then that's one thing, but that is definitely not something that I would jump into. I know there's obviously alternative therapies that you could try. There's Botox, which some people do. I personally haven't tried Botox. I have tried some acupunctural kind of things for pain. For me personally, they haven't helped, but again, that is something that is out there if you would prefer to try alternative therapies or try them on top of the non-alternative therapies. Does that even make sense? This condition needs so much awareness raised for it. It needs so much more research than what it gets. It doesn't get any research. It is so often misdiagnosed. Please, 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 please raise awareness. If you're going through it, then I'm with you. Let's chat, let's talk. I'm happy to kind of help and share my experience or what helps me, things like that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video or found it helpful or useful, whether you are a sufferer or a friend or family of a sufferer, or you just wanted to learn. I hope you did. So if you did, be sure to give this video a massive, massive thumbs up, and be sure to click that subscribe button, because you know, we can have more fun, we can learn some more, and if you click the bell that's next to it, then you even get alerted when I upload, which is awesome if you ask me, so you should totally do that. And I am going to do a Q&A soon about health and me and everything, so if you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and check out all my social media and you can ask me there as well. And right up in that corner, I'm going to leave the link to my last video, and right down there I'm going to leave a link to a surprise video, because we will have a surprise. It will be a health related video, but I'm not going to tell you which one, so you're just going to have to wait and see. And until next time, keep watching and stay strong and stay safe. Bye guys!